Calm down, Winnipeggers. I'm just having fun with the thumbnail. I'm not really trying to make it seem like you guys lost the trade, even though, you know, some trades have winners and losers, and some trades have 2 winners, some trades have 2 losers. It's kind of strange how that works, but for the sake of this video, we're going to be talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets and how well they have been scoring goals, and in particular, the one guy that was sent over to Columbus in that ill-fated Pierre-Luc Dubois trade, Patrik Laine. Now, before we get into Laine, because he is the main subject of this video, I will say this: Pierre-Luc Dubois is doing pretty well with the Winnipeg Jets. Everybody likes to talk about the leadership and him stepping up to the podium, talking to the media, and being all frustrated with the team, because the Jets have not really been the hottest team as of late. You take a look at where they are in the NHL standings right now, you could barely say they're fighting for a playoff spot at this point. Down there, 6th in the Central, they're 4-4-2 in their last 10, they've lost 4 straight, and you have guys like Mark Scheifele not really showing up to play in the right way. You got guys like Pierre-Luc Dubois, on the other hand, actually doing so. So it's pretty down and out for Winnipeg at the moment. A lot of Jets fans are going to be going out there and cynically talking about their team, but for Pierre-Luc Dubois, he is one of the only guys that, at least based off of what I've seen, garners the respect of this Jets fan base. So even though I'm going to go out there and label the Dubois trade as a loss for Winnipeg, I'm only doing it for the sake of making a funny thumbnail. So let's talk about Patrik Laine, because dude, when we had ourselves this Laine and Dubois trade when the heck did it happen? A year ago? It was a year ago, right? 2020? I'm not too sure. But I remember back a few months after the trade was done, we had ourselves a growing sentiment amongst both the fan bases that both Laine and Dubois hadn't really performed to the expectations set upon them by the fan bases of the new teams that had acquired them. Pierre-Luc Dubois in his first season in Winnipeg was not really top tier. Like, he was good, but he was not what he was supposed to be. Meanwhile, Patrik Laine had a pretty down year. He was slumping a little bit towards the end. There was the Tortorella thing, the drama with that organization and the coaching staff. And it was really tough to see as a fan of Patrik Laine and the profile that he does possess. Eventually, things got even more wacky when the trade speculation started pumping itself up again. Guys like Frank Saravalli, other people in the NHL media sphere talking about the idea of trading Laine once again because he will be an expiring RFA this offseason. He will need a new contract. He's making a lot of money right now, but based off of how the Blue Jackets feel about his play, based off of how he feels about the Blue Jackets, who really knows if an agreement, a long-term agreement, would even be possible to be reached. So there was a whole bunch of speculation. We made a ton of videos talking about Laine, and whenever there was a new article coming out about how he was slumping or how he was doing bad and that he was maybe on the trade block, we'd talk about it because, yeah, it's a big topic. Patrik Laine, literally a 2nd overall pick behind Austin Matthews. He's a pretty big name in this NHL climate. And I'll go out there and correct myself once again, because for every time we have spoken about Patrik Laine being bad and talking about the lowlights and talking about him not really performing to the way that Blue Jackets fans wanted him to, we also got to go out there and talk about it when he does do well. And that's what he's been doing as of late. The 6'5", 209 right-wing sniper has gone out there with 36 points in 33 total games played. He is on pace for 36 goals in 63 games and 68 points in that span. Do the math over 82 games, 68 divided by 63 multiplied out by 82. Patrik Laine is on pace for a whopping 89-point season, which would be a career high. In terms of the goal production, he is on pace for a total of 47 goals, which also would be a career high. Now, this is pretty great because there were some moments earlier on throughout this season where Patrik Laine was kind of going through a little bit of a dry spell. We had made a few videos here and there just talking about the struggles and chronicling them when they would occur, but Patrik Laine really boosted his stock up with the recent stretch of games that he had, starting on January 27th against the New York Rangers. Now, from that date up until February 24th, he had himself, let's do the tally right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games played. How many goals did he have in these 11 games? He had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 goals, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 assists. So if you exclude the recent loss to the Carolina Hurricanes 4-0, because, you know, shutout, you don't really get points when you get shut out. Patrik Laine in his recent 11 games spanning back the last month had 13 goals and 8 assists for 21 points. 21 points in 11 games. Dude, Patrik Laine has come alive, and you see everything he's going out there. 3 straight 2-goal games against Montreal, Florida, and then Washington. He gets a hat trick against Chicago. He gets 2 goals against Toronto, one of them being the overtime winner through Auston Matthews' legs. And you just watch a lot of these goals go in. They're the same types of plays. They're him taking it with some speed and absolutely winding up and picking a corner. They're him just dragging the puck out, changing the angle, and sniping it on the opposite side. Patrik Laine has really started to find his groove in the best way possible, and a lot of these highlights of him scoring goals really feel like the old Laine. I miss the old Laine, straight from the go Laine, chop up the soul Laine, set on his goals Laine. He's got himself a heck of a lot of goals, and man, this is the guy that the Winnipeg Jets really wanted to keep. They really wanted to keep him, but no, there was just way too much drama surrounding him and his development, which led to him ultimately being traded. And in fact, a lot of people are going out there speculating, okay, who knows if Laine is going to go out there and re-sign? We've known that Jarmo Kekalainen wants to keep this guy around, but if the contract demands are in a certain territory, maybe there's a trade on the table. That's why we had a whole bunch of speculation from NHL insiders saying, oh, they could trade him, they're exploring options, whatever, whatever. But Patrik Laine also on Instagram 3 days ago, posted a picture saying, "Thank you, Blue Jackets fans. Your energy last night was," and then he does the little John Cena, "you can't see me" hand. And this was pretty significant in a lot of people's eyes, because Laine doesn't really post too much on Instagram. Like, the previous few posts about him are him and his dog, him with the cool glasses, it looks very nice, and then, of course, the commemorative post to Matiss Kivlenieks. Other than that, he hasn't really posted anything, and this is the first time in a while he's actually made a post about hockey specifically. The last one was him when he got traded from Winnipeg, and he wrote out, yeah, you know, "Thank you, Winnipeg." And so maybe, if you really wanted to go out there and try to speculate on the minds of these NHL players based off of their social media activity, which I highly recommend you do not do, but if you really wanted to do that, you could maybe conclude, okay, maybe Laine's really opening up to the idea of staying here in Columbus and being a part of this team long-term, because he's now posting about the fans, and he's really thankful and everything, and he had the comments where he said that he loves Columbus and he would like to return, all that stuff. It's really interesting when you realize that the talks that Brad Larson, the coach, had about Patrik Laine falling off, that was like right before Laine went back on his heater and started scoring the lights out with 13 goals in 11 games played. Like, it was almost exactly at that point in time, when he got called up by the coach, that he started performing well. That's really funny to me, isn't it? And it's kind of why I felt like I needed to make this video talking about Laine and how well he has been doing, especially since the Winnipeg Jets, the team that he came from, they're doing really poorly right now. Columbus, even though they're not really in the playoff race too much either, like, they're probably the best team in the East that is not in a playoff spot right now, which isn't really saying much because there are 8 teams ahead of them, but like, just remembering the trade and seeing how well Jack Roslovic was doing right away, it's kind of strange because Pierre-Luc Dubois, I mean, the guy's doing pretty well right now. He's on pace for 60 points over a full season as a two-way center, but like, Laine is on pace for more goals than Dubois is in a significantly fewer amount of games played. And if you want to talk about Jack Roslovic, who is also included, I mean, he was really good last year, but this season he's got 22 points in 51 games played. There's a lot of speculation going around as to whether or not Roslovic will get traded again too, because he's also expiring this season, and who really knows the long-term projectability of this type of player. Look at his pace, dude. Jack Roslovic is on pace for 35 points in 81 games. Last season, he had 34 points in 48 games. Like, I know he's been playing a little bit further down in the lineup, but still, that's not a good development path in the slightest after a pretty great first season in Columbus. So, for Patrik Laine, it's been a while, but it appears that he is now emerging as the best, de facto the best player of the Dubois-Laine-Roslovic trade, and as a result, I mean, Winnipeg Jets fans looking at this guy, seeing how well he's performing, seeing what kind of an impact he's making here for the Blue Jackets with however many points he has had, it does kind of sting, does it not? That does not change your status on winning or losing the trade. I still do think that Columbus got the better of the two teams when it comes to the trade acquisitions with Roslovic and Laine compared to just Dubois. But you can let me know in the comments what do you think and why my thumbnail and title choices have ticked you off, if that is indeed how you feel. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this British Rolls 99. and bye.